But we talked briefly yesterday about the Bryce Harper-Rob Manfred confrontation.
Right.
That Bryce Harper was asked about yesterday. Wouldn't really confirm it, kind of spoke around it. But Jeff Passan, who does a great job covering baseball, wrote a whole article about what Rob Manfred is doing, which we talked about. He's going into different locker rooms, trying to create a civil war amongst players, talking about a salary floor. And that obviously leads to a salary cap, which is what got Bryce Harper mad. So I was reading Jeff Passan's reporting, and I noticed a paragraph that I'd like to read out loud because I'm not sure how Yankee fans are going to feel about this. Now, the Yankees have a very high payroll, and Hal Steinbrenner has spent a lot of money. He's talked about trying to stay under the luxury tax, but he's gone over it. So Hal is without question a big market owner, even if sometimes fans don't feel like he's spending enough. This is the paragraph I'd like to read to you. Though Manfred is not committed to pursuing a salary cap, multiple owners have criticized MLB's current economic system and alluded to a cap as a panacea directly. Baltimore's David Rubenstein and indirectly Boston's John Henry, Pittsburgh's Bob Nutting, and New York Yankees' Hal Steinbrenner. Now, I take that because I didn't see a lot of other names in there. I didn't see Steve Cohen's name in there. I take it as Hal Steinbrenner is into a salary cap.
Right.
How do we feel about that?
Well, I think we kind of could have suspected that he was one of the owners that would be into a salary cap simply because of his desire not to continually be in the high luxury tax. Like it becomes daunting when you have to continually pay more to get less, right? So when you're in the highest bracket of the CBT, now any player you bring in, we know this because you talk about it all the time, is 110%. And so it just, like, even if you bring in someone at a reasonable number, it becomes too big, right? And so I think the salary cap prevents those type of situations. You can get better without having to be penalized so much financially. But at the same time, there's an argument, I don't necessarily believe it, that having a salary cap makes everyone on an equal level, right? It creates parity. But I think the cheap owners are still going to be cheap.
They're going to go towards that basement, whatever that basement number is.
Right. And no matter what you do, the teams that don't want to spend are still not going to spend. And so it might, in your mind, solve the problem, but it's not solving the problem of who's winning championships and who's not. And I think that's what Rob Manfred wants. Because you see some of these in these other leagues. In the NFL, it feels like there's a ton of parity.
Even though there's less parity than baseball.
100%. It feels like, the Washington Commanders, they sucked 2 years ago, and now they were in an NFC championship game. You can turn it around really quickly. And it's not because of the money. It's just because you happen to be managed well. The same thing can be said about hockey, basketball. We haven't had a repeat winner in basketball since the Warriors, right? And that was 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
17 and 18.
Exactly. And so we know now that parity is what leagues want because it makes it interesting, but it doesn't guarantee it's going to happen simply because you have a salary cap. I think the players in Major League Baseball will forever push against this.
Oh, they'll never accept it.
Even the ones that aren't at that floor right now, because they know that the potential for them to go make ridiculous money is always going to be there as long as there's not a cap. And the argument against it from the player's sake, the cap-wise, is actually really intelligent. When you look at the NFL and you come to the offseason, some guy gets paid the next highest paid guard in NFL history. We champion that. It's like, that dude got broke off. That's awesome for him. But what we don't see is that there's a veteran who's in his 8th year, who gets cut because he's a salary cap casualty, right? We don't see that this young player replaces a long-term vet on a team because he's cheaper. Like, we don't see those things. We only see the big numbers in the NFL. We don't see all the little moves that happen underneath those big numbers.
Right.
That's what you have to do when you have a salary cap.
Right, you got to manage it.
You got to manage it.
And by managing it, some people are casualties, like you said.
That's exactly right.
Would it bother you, Shaun, that your owner, Hal Steinbrenner, is like, bring on a salary cap?
No, because for 30 years I've been very pro-salary cap in baseball.
Really? You think it'll help the Yankees?
Why? Why are you pro-salary cap?
Now, Tiki, I'm going to make this very clear. I know I'm an idiot when it comes to the finances, and I think you bring up a good point on why that wouldn't cure anything. And I think having a floor is far more important than having a cap.
I agree.
So I'm assuming a floor, when you talk about salary cap, we're including a floor, and we kind of get that middle ground. I believe that most teams in baseball, because I love the model in football and to the extent the NBA, should be spending on equal footing, but I understand that is not all privy with the TV revenue. It's a different sport. I think also selfishly, this might wake the Yankees up out of their abyss, too. If you're in a salary cap, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe that Brian Cashman would be a very good general manager if he simply just isn't one of the 5 highest spenders in baseball. So I know this is a very me issue, but personally, if I get a GM on equal footing with everybody else, I think you'll start exposing flaws, and the Yankees might wake themselves up a little bit and get out of this rut too. But ultimately, yeah, I think baseball's better. I think it sucks that the Pirates can't keep Paul Skeens. I think it sucks that the Tigers may eventually have to trade Tyreek Skubal. And I know that that's those owners' problems and pocketing revenue, but I prefer a sport where teams try to spend as equally as possible.
Right.
You know, one of the ramifications in a fictitious world, if there was a salary cap, would be that Aaron Judge would probably not be a Yankee right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
you're right.
I think that you would make wiser decisions when it comes to paying guys into their late 30s, knowing it's not just it's going to be a bad contract, it's going to be a bad contract that precludes you from doing something else.
Right. There is one glaring reason why there will never be a salary cap in baseball. There's no revenue sharing.
Yep.
In the NFL, you can get a national television deal. And we've seen them, multiple of them, across all kinds of platforms, including streaming. It's a $100 billion deal. It's ridiculous how much money the national nature of the NFL allows money to be made, and they split it evenly amongst all the teams. So even if you suck, you're still going to make money.
Yeah.
The value of your franchise is still going to go up. Your bottom line is always going to be black to an extent. And baseball, because it's a regional sport, and I hate to diminish it. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but it's the reality of the game.
It is a regional sport.
I don't care about the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
I kind of care about the Arizona Cardinals. You know what I mean?
What would make you, though, care about the Arizona Diamondbacks? Is there anything?
If they were good. You just don't. There's too many games for me to try to watch. Even if I liked them and some of their players, there's just too many games for me to try to watch the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a regional sport where that regional sports network, which don't exist because they all went under, right, a couple of years ago. How do you make the real money in those smaller markets? New York is fine, right? California is fine. There are enough eyes for that regional market to make a ton of money. In the NFL, you get the big, massive umbrella TV contract because it's national. In baseball, you have these regional deals that sometimes go away, and these teams can't make money.
No.
There will never be a cap because the Arizona Diamondbacks cannot even get close to making as much money as the Boston Red Sox or the New York Yankees.
I agree with you. There will never be a cap, which is why missing games potentially in 2 years for something that would never happen feels like a colossal waste of time.
Agreed.
It feels like we're fighting over something that inevitably isn't going to happen. Though I've given this thought, and I think my views changed over 3 years ago, because you guys remember there was a lockout?
Yes.
And Rob Manfred canceled games.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of knew it was a negotiating tactic, because once they settled, they rushed everything, and they fit in 162 games. I thought then, boy, if they cut off part of the season, that's going to kill the sport. The more I think about it, I don't think it will. Like, I think there's a lot of people like Tommy, even if I disagree with you, I do think that you represent a lot of people who would say, whatever, start the season in July, we're good.
120-game schedule?
Yeah.
Guess what? We'll still be interested.
And people will still be interested. I think the difference in 1994, which everyone is still scarred by, even though it was a million years ago, is that they had a season. Mm-hmm. Like, it was August, and then they stopped it and didn't give you a World Series. Like, you were having all the fun, and then they took it away from you.
You never don't want to see an ending.
Correct. Like, we still have questions about what would have happened in 1994. When you start a season late, and I know this from 1995 with baseball, the NBA had it twice. We barely remember the years where it actually happened.
Right.
Because we concluded we had a champion and we're good. I think the only thing that would be a problem is if it was a 50-game season like we had during the pandemic. Like, there needs to be some semblance of a real season. But I don't think it would be the death knell that I was worried it was going to be when we had the lockout back in 2022. Not that that should make Rob Manfred say, screw it, let's have a lockout.
Right.
But I don't feel like it's going to be the death sentence for Major League Baseball.
Can we get to the real root, though, why Hal Steinbrenner wants a salary cap?
Because he doesn't want to spend as much anymore?
He doesn't want to, and more importantly, can't compete with Steve Cohen. So now the almighty Yankees now want a salary cap. Now I've heard it all. I've been in the business for, 15, 20 years, a sportsman for 40 years. I've heard it all now. We could end it now. The New York Yankees would like a salary cap, just coincidentally, right? Just like they got rid of the beard thing, coincidentally, and now they want to get rid of the salary cap or have a salary cap, coincidentally. No. They can't compete with the Mets. So they want now an even playing field. The Steinbrenners didn't want a salary cap all these years ago because when they were the big dogs in town and they could spend and buy championships, then it was okay. Now that they can't spend with the Mets, and they certainly can't spend with the Dodgers, they want a salary cap. And Shaun's going to lay it out like, oh, yeah, this is good because Brian Cashman's not going to get fired no matter what. He's got a lifetime contract, whether there's a salary cap or not. Him and Boone are here for life.
He's doing a good job.
They're
Leave Brian
senators.
Cashman alone.
They're never getting rid of them. They're on the Supreme Court. They're here for life.
Hey, loser! It was a different Steinbrenner owning the team when it was the Caps.
But, Shaun, you think
I always wanted a cap.
It doesn't matter.
I thought what the Yankees were doing was unfair.
Time out.
Represent that.
Time out.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Lugauer Debate Series?
Yep.
I don't have the music. Hold on.
God.
He's got to get the music. So anytime these two are about to fight like rabid dogs, we make it official. We have a scoreboard here in the Evan and Tiki studio where they each get 60 seconds to make their case and then 30 seconds to beat each other up. And then we pick a winner. That score currently has it Shaun 8, Tommy 6. Let me check my scoreboard just to confirm we have the same numbers here because we have been very official with the Lugauer Debate Series. See, I have 7-6.
Oh, yeah, we're very much on the up and up. You don't have the same score that we have on the whiteboard that's written in scribble. How official could this be?
I have it being 7-6, Shaun. How do you have it 8-6?
I don't know.
And why is Let's Go Mets on the board?
Very official. Very official.
Just for the record, I have it 7-6 with the last Lugauer Debate Series. We actually had two of them on June 4th. We had a doubleheader.
We did.
Shaun won one, Lugie won the other.
So just get Don on it here.
Either way, his name is Dan.
All right, so get Doug on.
Either way, officially right now, we'll trust your scoreboard. It's 8-6. The possession arrow is in Tommy's possession, which means Tommy gets to decide if he wants to kick off the Lugauer Debate Series or allow Shaun to go first. So, Tommy, your decision?
I would like Shaun to go first.
All right, now play the music.
Oh, the music.
I don't even know. What are we arguing?
I don't know. I forgot already.
I know, because as soon as he started fighting, it hit me in the head. Has Hal Steinbrenner embracing a salary cap proven once and for all that the New York Mets are Big Brother? Is this Hal's way of conceding the city to the Mets because he wants a salary cap? Shaun Morash?
Hal Steinbrenner has been complaining about the luxury tax and not going over it way before Tiki Barber spoke into a microphone and said, I heard the Mets might be selling to Steve Cohen. So this has nothing to do with Steve Cohen and the Mets. It has been influenced, though, by the Guggenheims, their dumb museum, and the dumb Dodgers, and all their deferred money. And that is where this whole salary cap comes into play. You can pay anybody you want in Dodgerland and continue to pay him till 2050. That is the issue. Steve Cohen is very filthy rich. If he starts giving out all this deferred money, then you can join the rodeo, pal. Until then, this is about the Dodgers, who last time I checked are still your daddy as much as they are our daddy.
All right, he only used 35 seconds, which is fine. Tommy Lugauer, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Hal Steinbrenner has no interest in competing with Steve Cohen. He can't compete with Steve Cohen. We saw that with Juan Soto. He picked the Mets because they have a brighter future and they have more to offer. So Hal Steinbrenner, I guess we could set up a GoFundMe account for the Yankees now because they don't have enough money to spend on free agency and they want to be on the same level with the Royals and the Pirates because of Steve Cohen now. Because if it was the Wilpons, we wouldn't be hearing about a salary cap. And if the Dodgers weren't doing what they were doing, we wouldn't be hearing about a salary cap. The Yankees want to run their operation now, I guess, like a mom and pop. They want to run their... this is what Yankee fans want to hear as they're driving to work today. A salary cap so you could be a mid-market team. That's what the Yankees want to be because you can't handle what's going on in Queens. It's all about this. Shaving the beard, Juan Soto. There'll be names on the back of the jersey next year. That'll be the next thing they do. They want a salary cap because they cannot compete with the Bucks that is going on Big Brother in Queens.
Okay, yeah, Steve Cohen did a hell of a job spending on all the pitching. The Yankees just gave 8 years to Max Fried. So it's not about being the Pirates or the Tigers. It's about simply just trying to compete as level a playing field as possible, not going over a luxury tax to have small market owners take the money and put in their pocket. Hal is tired of gassing up the Pirates owner's yacht just to compete like that.
Well, he doesn't have money for gas? What is he got to put? He's got to turn over a seat cushion, a couch cushion to get quarters to give to the Pirates for gas money? This used to be the Yankees' biggest advantage. This is what made them thrive. You want to say it was this, it was that. It was the money. Now they want to take what used to be their biggest advantage and they don't want to use it anymore because it's no longer an advantage. That's why. They no longer have the most money. So now they want to cry poor and say, all right, we need a salary cap because they can't compete with the Mets. They have no interest in it either, but they can't do it financially. A salary cap. The Yankees want a salary cap. Boy.
Positive Tommy, positive Shaun checking in. Can you just tell me the record
you're not
between
positive,
the Yankees
Shaun.
and Mets? What is the record between the Yankees and Mets playing this year?
You're going to pull the record from this year?
Answer the question. What's the record?
It was your World Series. It's tied.
Okay, so 3. I think they competed just fine.
Really? We have more wins than you.
All right.
We went further games with the Dodgers. I think I won that, Lugauer Debate.
Tommy answered my
Not
second. I think I won.
the one where we said who had a better run last year.
Positive Tommy and Mary Marash. This was an interesting one because they both made very good points.
Yeah.
Because I think Shaun's point about not wanting a salary cap because teams like the Pirates don't want to spend and they're just collecting the tax money from all the other teams that are spending is very true. But at the same time, Tommy's point that everybody spends money, not everybody, but there are a lot of teams that spend money as opposed to just the Yankees and maybe a couple other teams. It's hard to compete. It's harder to compete the way you used to compete. And so the reality is that the Yankees need to find a way to do it differently because how they used to do it is not going to work anymore.
Right.
And so in some ways he's right. But Shaun is also right. It's a tough one.
Well, who won the actual debate, though? They both made compelling points. I'll give you that. Who won the actual debate?
I think I got to give it to Tommy.
Yeah, I think Tommy kicked his ass. I think this was a mismatch.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed about this, I've been studying the Lugauer Debate Series, and my records have this now tied 7-7. You have it 8-7, Shaun. We'll double-check the history books. But I have every Lugauer Debate Series written down, so I don't think I could be wrong here.
Switch that possession arrow to.
Yeah, we got to switch the possession arrow now to Shaun. Here's the thing I've noticed about Lugie and Shaun. When Lugie is on the aggressive, and that was aggressive, right? We talked about the salary cap. I was about to take a call. And Tommy's like, hold on. I was like, Tommy's got something to say. Let's hear it. And Tommy came out like flying, like smoking. Like, this proves that their little brother, bah. Shaun was so on the defensive, he wasn't ready to take a punch or fight with him.
I agree with that.
And so I think that when Tommy is aggressive, he has a natural edge over Shaun because he's like a turtle that wants to go back into a shell when he notices an aggressive Tommy. And so I think from the beginning, Tommy was uppercutting him all over the place, and Shaun had no retort. I thought, Shaun, you showed some fight at the end.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Tommy's talking about yachts.
Look,
it just made me laugh.
Evan, no doubt about it. And this is one of those, I always fight those. I think Tommy won that debate, too. I know I'm right and he's wrong, but his heart was into it more than mine, and that's on me. So that's all.
That's all it is.
That's what it's about.
Debate's not who's right or wrong.
Exactly.
It's who makes the better argument.
And the world, and who's stuck in traffic knows I was right, but Tommy can win the little fight.
But you know what? Okay, so let's put that aside, Tommy, when it's clear.
By the way, I think Shaun has an extra. I think we gave him something for. It wasn't a debate. It was something else.
Well, that doesn't count then.
It does because it was debate-ish. And I can't remember now what it was. I'm completely lost on it, but I remember we gave him the extra victory because of something not related to a debate.
All I know is I have 14 Lugauer Debate Series written down on a document right now with everything. The date, what it was about, the final score.
I remember which one. It was when Evan was out and me and Tommy debated why the show's better without Evan. And then I won. So you missed that one, Evan.
Really? Tommy was defending me? No way.
I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, that doesn't even sound realistic. All right, so I have it at 7-7. You had it at 8-7. But in terms of the actual debate, like the salary cap and Hal's motivation for wanting it, I actually think Tommy's right.
Yeah.
And not necessarily about the Mets. Like, I get the Mets stuff, and you should throw that in there. I think it's about the landscape of baseball. Like, there was a time in which the Yankees were the bully. They're not anymore.
No.
And it's not just the Mets, but the Mets are a part of it. They did take Juan Soto away. It's the Dodgers, too.
Right.
And I almost think that ownership is looking at the landscape of baseball and saying, yeah, we can spend more than Tampa. Yeah, we can even spend more than a handful of teams in baseball, most teams in baseball, but the Mets in our own backyard took a player away, and the Dodgers are running circles around us.
This is why I can't stand when people, for at least the last year or so, prior to the last year, kept calling the Yankees the evil empire, because they're not.
No, they're not.
Not even close anymore. It's the Dodgers, and what Tommy said is right. The Dodgers are doing it, Shaun said this was right. They're doing it in this convoluted way. Here, Shohei Ohtani, we're going to give you the largest contract at the time that any Major League Baseball player has ever gotten. By the way, it's only going to count $40 million on our cap and on our luxury tax, even though it's $70 a year, and you're not getting the money until 2040, right? So that it doesn't feel right. And if there was a cap, you couldn't do those things. And so the Dodgers wouldn't be able to cheat the payroll system the way that they have been over the last couple of years by deferring almost everybody's salary out until, probably way past they're done playing. So in that regard, it keeps it equitable, but it also pulls down the pricing that players are getting. And that's something that the union is never, ever going to go for.